Welcome back to Living Local. Tattooing is one of the most ancient forms of art. The old tradition of body modification is more popular than it's ever been, with at least 1/5 of U.S. adults having at least one tattoo, including yours truly. And I'm joined right now in the studio with Sam McFarland with Painted Monkey Tattoo. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
We really appreciate it. I love tattoos. I've always been fascinated by them. I love all kinds of artwork as well. But let's start with your background. What can you tell us about your background with art in general?
Well, I started painting in junior high, and I took lessons from Ralph Yacarino, a pretty well-known local watercolorist, and got into watercolor, did that through high school, got in the AP art program, went on to college, and I have a bachelor's in painting.
Yeah.
And then I did graphic design for years until I ended up in tattooing.
That's awesome. What is it about art and different art forms that just keeps you coming back and keeps you invigorated on a daily basis?
Well, my mother was into the arts and crafts, and my father was an engineer. So I think they were just built to build, and it's in my blood.
Yeah, sometimes it is, that's for sure. So how did you get into tattooing as an art form? What led you to that, and what's that journey been like?
Well, I was doing graphic design at the time, and I had a friend who wanted me to design a back piece for him. And then he said, well, if I bought you the equipment, would you learn to tattoo? And I said, yeah, sure. I had no idea what I was getting into. It was huge. And then I tattooed fruit for a very long time before I touched anybody's skin.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Is that common to practice on fruit?
Well, you know, people do it. They have fake skin, but the fake skin's really expensive, and then you get to eat the fruit, so it's, you know, yeah.
There you go. Not a bad idea for sure. What was it different? I'm sure a lot of things were different, but about doing art on skin versus on paper.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, you've got a curvy canvas, it's stretchy, people are nervous, people move. Like, it is the hardest form of art I've ever done, and I think that's why I'm hooked.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you've learned a lot over the years, and a lot of clients, I'm sure, come to you, and you always have to walk them through the process. You take the idea that they have, and you turn it into art. So what is that process? How do you work with someone to create the design that they have in their head?
Well, I usually ask them, what do you want, where do you want it, and how big do you want it? Once they give me that, I say, okay, now Google it and send me some pictures of, like, well, I want a dragon. I said, do you want a Japanese dragon? Do you want a medieval dragon?
Very different.
Yeah. So I get the reference material from people, and then I put it together, and then we get together on drawings, and I make a stencil, and they get to see it on their body before we get into it. So
yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure people are very nervous, first timers coming in. What are some of the things that people should expect for their first time coming in to get a tattoo, but also what do you do to kind of help calm those new clients down?
Well, when they come in, it's not like you just sit down and you immediately get your tattoo. So there's paperwork to fill out. They get to see the shop. They get to meet me. I make this stencil, and we put the stencil on them so you see the tattoo well before a needle ever touches you. And that usually, and then I've got a candy dish.
A candy dish.
Candy gets everybody through their tattoos, yeah.
Absolutely. Need something. It's a little painful. What options are available for people who need cover-ups?
Oh, you know, cover-ups back in the day used to just be like slap black over it. But I have found if people are patient, that's the problem. If people are patient, because it takes multiple sittings, you can put light, bright colors over a nasty, old, dark tattoo, but it takes a lot of applications. So you can get a lot better cover-ups than you used to be able to, but it's just patience.
Has that become more popular in recent years, cover-ups?
Yes.
Do you enjoy them? Is it difficult?
I do. It's a huge challenge, actually, because you're working with, you know, monkey muck, but people are so happy to not be like, most of my clients are really embarrassed of the tattoos they're covering up, and so they're like, oh, I can take my shirt off at the pool again. Like, makes them feel really good.
Yeah, I'm sure that's rewarding for you as well. All right, well, what's it like working in a very male-dominated field as well?
Well, it was very hard at first. I had a painting portfolio, a tattoo portfolio, and a graphic design portfolio, and nobody would hire me.
Oh, wow.
They all said, you don't fit in. And I figured out it was because I was a female. It took me a while to put that together, but I wasn't meeting any women in these places. So I decided to open up my own shop.
Awesome.
And make it, you know, comfortable and all about the art. So
it's perfect.
Yeah.
That's really, really awesome. But also, it's not just the tattoo, the only artwork you do. You do some other stuff, which is what we have sitting here today. Tell us about what got you interested in staining glass.
Well, I've always wanted to do stained glass. When I did watercolors, I would emulate stained glass on my paintings. And seriously, you know, I'm in my 40s, so you would have thought I would have tried it before now, but I just thought it was out of reach. And my good friend Barb Miser, she's the wife of one of my clients, said, hey, do you want to learn the real thing? And I said, well, yeah, and that was 2 years ago. And then I ended up buying a kiln, and now I paint on glass, and it's really just blossomed.
Absolutely. I'm sure this is a very convoluted question, but what does the process of staining look like?
Well, to make a stained glass piece, you know, this small sun catcher type, you pretty much just cut glass, you put foil around the edges, and then you solder it together, which is kind of what I've done with a lot of these. But also, these are painted and fired in a kiln, like layers over layers over layers.
Wow.
So, and the paints that I use will last for 1,000 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's
amazing.
the same you see in churches.
Yeah, they stick around long after we're gone.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then also bead art as well. So what kind of bead making do you do?
I do mostly memorial beads for people who've lost somebody. You put a layer of glass and then color and then ashes and then clear. And it's just a memorial thing. People can make necklaces or bracelets or, you know, just something to have the person around no matter what they're doing.
That's so sweet. Absolutely. What is it about art that you think is so valuable? Whether it's remembering a loved one or remembering something that you want on your body, what is it about art that has that value piece to it?
Oh, well, life would just be meaningless without it. I mean, the pattern on your shirt requires art. The weaving of my dress requires art. Like everything that we love that's beautiful requires art. So
yeah, gives the world vibrancy.
Yes.
What do you enjoy most about being an artist here in the Quad Cities?
I actually love the smallness. I lived in Chicago for a number of years, and I love that I can get intimate with my clients. Like, I know my clients' kids, like, you know, I have them over for parties. Just the smallness of the Quad Cities, the intimacy and friendliness here.
Yeah, absolutely. Boo, big cities. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. Your art is absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you for having me.
Alrighty. For more information, you can visit paintedmonkeytattoo.com. We're also going to take all these details and post them on our website, ourquadcities.com. We're back with more Living Local right after this.